Hello students. So today we will be studying array antennas. Basically for some application, single element antennas are unable to meet the gain or radiation pattern requirement. So combining several single antenna elements in an array can be a possible solution. So this lecture of mine will be based on the details of such array antennas. Okay, so let us start with the array antennas. Now, array antennas. As I told you just now, if the requirement of the gain and directivity are not met with the help of single element, then we go for n number of elements. But then we cannot just make this n number of elements to radiate in a random pattern. You have to arrange them in certain way with certain geometrical specifications. Okay, before entering into all those details, first let us see what is a linear antenna array theory of antennas. Now, an antenna array is an assembly of radiating elements. These radiating elements could be any element. It could be the array of uh, it could be array of rods. It could be array of um, aperture antennas. It could be array of slots into a waveguide, or it could be a planar array. Planar array means number of microstrip patches developed on a substrate. So these patches possibly could be of any size, any shape, but with a specific distance between them and the other related characteristic, which I will be explaining you in detail. Okay, so the radiation pattern of a single element of the single element is relatively very wide. Wide in the sense the radiation pattern is wide. It is not narrow. It is not directive, more directive to the certain direction. So it is wide. Okay, each element provides low value of directivity. When I say that the element radiation is wide, that means it is providing me less value of directivity. It is not specifically directed to any one direction. Okay, however, in many applications we require the antennas with very high directivity characteristics. As I many a times in class I have given you the example of the long distance communication, that is the communication between the satellite which is situated on the earth station, and the antenna which is situated on the satellite. So this communication is a ultra long distance communication which involves thousands of kilometers into it. In this case, the directivity of the antenna has to be very sharp, very high, so that it doesn't miss its target antennas. Okay, in this case, we nowhere can take a chance of the element which is having the radiation pattern which is broader. Okay, so the directive characteristics of the antenna can be improved by increasing the electrical size of the antenna. So this is one of the way in which you can improve the directivity of antenna. That is to increase the size of the radiating element physically or electrically, which is not always practically or economically possible. So there has to be another way out. Okay, so one way to increase the directivity of the antenna without increasing the size of the individual radiating element, then it could be a form. Then you can form an array of those elements. Okay, keep the size of the element same as it was earlier. Instead of increasing its size, just increase the number of elements, place them into proper order, If it is a linear array, then in a form of a line. If it is a planar array, if it is a two-dimensional array, then along the two axes, so on and so forth. Okay, any arrangement, there are n number of arrangements which we will be looking at further. Okay, now the total electric field of the arrays is determined by the vector addition of the fields radiated by the individual elements. Okay, the elements of the array need not be identical always. Now, one thing, whatever arrays or array antennas we have seen till now, we have seen that the arrays or the elements in the array, the radiating elements in the array are almost or always identical. But this is not the case. If you want, you can also design an array antenna in which the arrays need, or the element need not be identical, but in this case the design becomes too complicated. So for the convenience and simplicity of the design, usually the elements of the array are identical with identical um, magnitudes and progressive phase applied to them. Okay, therefore here we will consider an array with identical elements. Okay, so whatever we are going to see now in today's lecture, that is all related to the array antenna having identical elements in that. Okay, so these are five controls for the identical array antennas. The very first one is geometrical configuration of the overall array. Geometrical configuration, as I stated just now, if it is linear, then all the arrays are placed along one axis. If it is circular, then any two axis may be involved in that. Similar is the case with rectangle geometry. And if it is a spherical, then all the three dimensions get included in that. That means your array is array of element is distributed along all the three axes. Okay, then the distance between the element, the distance, by controlling the distance between the element, you can control your possible output. Okay, whatever gain, whatever directivity you want, that could be controlled by controlling the spacing between the elements. Okay, excitation amplitude or individual of individual element, whatever excitation is given to individual element. Okay, even that could be used as one of the control element. Then excitation phase, whatever phase is applied while giving excitation, whatever phase is given to the individual element, even that could be one of the control elements to control the output. Then relative pattern of the individual element, the radiation pattern coming out which related to every one element could also be the controlling element. Now let us understand what is two element array. Two element array or the basic array, more than one element of course will give rise to a array. So two element array. Okay, let us first understand a two element array. In this example, I have considered two Hertzian dipoles which are placed at d by 2 distance away from the normal axis. Okay, that is y axis, and the total field radiated by this two element is given by Et is equals to E1 plus E2. Now, by substituting the equations of E1 and E2, which I have taught you in Unit 2, if we substitute that in this above equation, we get a new equation of total electric field by the two Hertzian antennas, and that is given by this equation, wherein beta is the difference in the phase excitation between the two elements. Though the magnitude is identical, but there is difference in the phase. Okay, now theta, theta is the angle between the element and point P. Point P is the reference point at some distance r away from the element. Okay, so that is angle theta. R1 is the distance of first element from the reference point, r2 distance of the second element from the reference point, and theta 1 and theta 2, that is angle for first and second element. Now the equation, if we consider in here, in this case I have considered theta 1 is equals to theta 2 is equals to theta, or r1 is equals to r2 is equals to r. This is in the case when you consider the far field radiation pattern. Okay, in this case all these parameters become equal to each other. So for far field radiation pattern, the r1 equation for r1 is equals to r minus d by 2 cos theta, and r2 becomes r plus d by 2 cos theta. And here you can see in diagram, in first diagram, the r1 and r2 are not equals to each other, since it is or the point p, reference point p, is much closer to the array. And the second diagram is for far field observation. Now assuming the far field observation, the total field becomes ET is equals to this equation. The above equation is been further manipulated, okay, and then this is the simplified form. Now after further simplification of this equation, we get ET is equals to field of single element into array factor. The bracket, the equation into the bracket is nothing but the array factor. Now you can see the element field of single element here, it is based on whatever field or the wave number, the length, okay, and the distance r, that is the distance of the reference point from the element. That means it is a actual radiation of the element. But if you look at this equation which is in the bracket carefully, you can see number of wave element as well as d, that is the placing between the two elements. That means it tells us about the geometrical structure or geometrical specifications of the array, and also the phase difference between the two elements. So basically array factor involves the geometrical specification, and the field signal element involves the radiation. Okay, so this is the equation for the array factor. Now it is apparent from the above equation that the total field of array is equal to the field of single element position at the origin multiplied by a factor which is referred to as the array factor. The array factor is a function of geometry of array and the excitation plane. This is also called as the pattern multiplication. Now let us look at another topic, that is n element linear array with uniform amplitude and spacing. Now n element array, you can very finely guess that more than 2 element comes under n element array, but you should understand what is a uniform amplitude and spacing array. Any array having identical elements, identical magnitudes applied to them, and the progressive phase applied to this array is called as a uniform array. An array of identical elements with identical magnitudes and with a progressive phase. Okay, magnitude has to be identical, but the phase of the magnitude has to be progressed with the different elements. Okay, then it is called as a uniform array. Now the array factor of a uniform array can be obtained by considering the individual elements. Okay, and it will be given by this equation. You can see this equation carefully. The exponential factors will increase with the number of your elements in the array. Now, after mathematical manipulation of this above equation, you can sum it up as the above equation. Okay. Here you can see that kd cos theta plus beta is substituted by or replaced by psi. Okay. For the simplification of the calculation, it is given by psi. Okay. So the array factor, new equation for array factor comes out to be this one. Here n shows the location of the last element with respect to the reference point P in steps of length d. That means the spacing between the elements is d. Now in the above equation, here you can see there is an exponential factor, wherein in the equation which is shown over here doesn't consist of this exponential factor, because this exponential factor is important, or it must be considered only when output of one array has to be combined with the output of another antenna. If not, you can eliminate this factor. So the new array factor equation comes out to be AF is equals to sine into n psi by 2 and sine upon sine psi by 2. For small value of psi, AF comes out to be this, and the normalized value of array factor is given by this equation. To normalize means to divide and multiply by n elements, or the number of elements in the array. Okay. So this is the final normalized array factor equation. Now, one of the most important part of this array is broadside array. Now let us understand what is a broadside array, what is a end fire array. Okay, these are two important radiating patterns or characteristics of the arrays. Okay, and how we achieve this end fire and broadside array, that we will be seeing in detail now. Now, broadside array. The broadside array is an array which has maximum radiation at theta is equals to 90 degree, or the radiation pattern is directed perpendicular to the axis axis of array. That means if your array antenna is oriented along z axis, then the radiation pattern created will be exactly 90 degrees away from the orientation. That means if this is my array, okay, then the radiation I will get, it will be exactly theta is equals to 90 degree, which you can see in figure A. Okay, so for optimal solution, both the element factor and the array factor should have their maximum at theta is equals to 90 degree. That is 90 degrees from the orientation axis. Okay, in this case, the maximum of the array factor occurs only if beta also is equals to 0. And if beta is equals to 0, that means there is no phase difference between the excitation of individual element. That means in this case, that is the linear uniform array, especially for end fire, the elements has to be identical, the excitation has to be identical, and the phase between the elements has also to be same. Okay, this is something to be noted. Now, to ensure that there are no maximas in other direction, that is the side lobes. As I have explained you in my previous lecture, the side lobes. All the smaller lobes other than the intended lobes are called as the side lobes. Okay. So, to ensure that there are no maximums in other directions, the separation between the two elements, or the distance between the two elements, must be less than the wavelength. Okay. Then we can see another type of array antenna, that is the end fire array antenna. And end fire array antenna is an array which has its maximum radiation along the axis of the array. That is theta is equals to 0 degree, or and or also you can say both the things will be true over here. So theta is equals to 0 degree and 180 degree, or theta is equals to 0 degree and 180 degree, either or condition. That means if your array is oriented along the z axis, then the radiation pattern observed also will be along the same axis. Okay, that is, say suppose z axis, so it will be in theta is equals to 0 and theta is equals to 180 degrees. Or if you read the second point, it may be required that the array radiates only in one direction. That is, either it can radiate, you can also make an array which will only give me the radiation either in theta is equals to 0 or theta is equals to 180 degrees. Okay, this is also possible. So for an array factor where theta is 0, okay, the value of beta has to be minus kd. And for array factor where maxima is 180 degree, then beta must be kd. Okay, now if the element separation is multiple of wavelength, that is d is equals to n into lambda, that is the distance between the elements is the multiple of the wavelength, that is n into lambda. In this case, what happens? The addition of, in addition to the end fire, the maxima also appears at the broadside direction, that is at theta is equals to 0. You can visualize this by just superimposing these two diagrams, that is by superimposing figure A and figure C upon each other. Then you will get 4 lobes in 4 different directions. This kind of radiation pattern you can get, or you will get, only if the distance between the element is the multiple of the number of elements into wavelength. Okay, so as with the broadside array, in order to avoid grating lobes, you must have the distance between the element as d less than lambda. Now phase scanning array. Here a simple example I have given to you. In an antenna theory, a phase array usually means an electronically scanned array. Okay, or there are computer controlled arrays of antenna which creates a beam of radio waves that can be electronically guided or controlled to point in different direction without moving the antenna. So this is one of the small examples which I have shared with you. This was a very so this is what we have in the syllabus of array antennas. Now, one more important point remaining in this unit is Yagi-Uda antenna, because Yagi-Uda antenna is also included in array antenna and its designing. So, in my next lecture, I will be explaining you Yagi-Uda antenna, its specification, its design equation, and all the other related things of Yagi-Uda. Okay, so thank you for watching the lectures. If you have any doubt, kindly contact. Okay.